Would you mind telling us who you voted for tonight?
I voted for Obama.
I voted for President Obama.
I think I want to keep it private.
I voted for Romney.
Does his name start with an O?
Barack Obama.
The name could start with an O or an R.
I voted for Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney, okay, great. If a robber points a gun at your head, I know, a little vague, and demands you give him your money, would you say he is acting immorally?
Yes.
Yes, I would.
Totally.
Totally, okay.
Yes, he's acting immorally.
I would say so.
Yes.
So let me ask you, do you support foreign aid for other countries like Israel, for example?
Yes.
Okay. So if I don't support foreign aid, and the government forces me to give up my money for foreign aid through taxes, isn't that the same thing as being robbed at gunpoint?
No.
Why not?
Pass.
Pass? You can't pass.
No, it's not. The government is forcing you to give your money?
Yeah, you don't
foreign-
have a choice in paying taxes. None of us do. It's forced.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
I'm not sure. I think that anything that is done by force, that is not done voluntarily, it's just like putting a gun in your forehead.
I think the government in that situation, even though they're taking taxpayer money for helping these foreign countries, I don't believe that it would be something immoral.
Okay.
You're helping humanity.
So isn't foreign aid a form of force? And you don't have a choice to pay or not?
When the government is making me force that, it's by force, it's not voluntary.
Do you support welfare?
Yes.
I do. There are people who need the aid, the assistance.
So you say you support welfare. So if I don't support welfare, and the government forces me to give up my money for welfare through taxes, isn't that the same thing as being robbed at gunpoint?
More or less.
More or less.
Yeah.
No. See, it depends the way you look at it. But I don't think that, I really do not see the relation that you're making there is not really, welfare doesn't mean that we're pointing a gun at someone's head in order to help someone else.
Do I have a choice in not paying these taxes?
I suppose we do, don't you?
No.
No, you don't have choices?
So does it bother you in any way that our government's forcing people to do things against their will?
Yeah, but there's not much we can do about it.
So would you ideally like to see changes in the system? Or?
Of course.
Of course, of course, of course. So you would like to live in a society where government's not pointing guns and forcing people to do stuff?
That'd be nice.
But to just say totally the no, that we don't have any obligation towards society, yes, we do have obligation towards society.
And do you think that obligation should be enforced through government pointing guns at its citizens?
No. It should be enforced by vote.
Right.
But at the same time, we do need some government regulations. If not, why do we have, traffic laws? Let's not put any traffic light there, because then, why? Why should we have that red light over there?
Because you can't compare being robbed at gunpoint to helping other people in your community. You can't, just because I don't agree for something doesn't mean I don't have to help you out.
But in a fundamental sense, in terms of being forced to do things against your will, is there a difference between the government pointing a gun at you and forcing you to give up your money and a robber doing it?
Well, no, when you dilute it down to the basics, there's no difference.
Come on, give me your best answer. Ooh. Pass. Well, doesn't that mean that basically it's a form of force? That when the government takes my money against my will, whether it's Obama or Romney, it's force, they're doing it against my will?
The government uses our money anyway. We don't always know exactly what for. We pay our taxes and hope for the best.
Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, those are all based on force too. I don't have a choice to pay for those. The government comes, they knock on my door, they say, give me your money. If I don't give them the money, they arrest me. If I try to escape jail, they'll shoot me dead. It's all force, so...
I don't think nobody should be forced to pay for any kind of health insurance.
So are you against Medicare?
I'm not against Medicare.
You've just crossed over into
Nobody.
the twilight zone.
Nobody should be forced to pay for any kind of health insurance.
So are you against Medicare?
I'm not against Medicare.
But isn't that force?
I don't think it's forced, because Medicare is something, even though you're paying your taxes the day you started at work, it's something good.
Okay.
I don't think that's it's a good force. It's nothing bad. I'm telling you, those who have good insurance will be number one. Those who have nothing will be last. So, you know, you gotta force people to get good care. In that case, I don't think that's putting a gunpoint. I think it's for your health.
Well, it's for your health, there's no doubt about it, but isn't it still through force?
It's anything that you do in any government is done by force. Really is by force.
Right. For example, with George Bush, for example, he initiated a lot of wars, which I'm against, and Obama supporter, I suppose you're against as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, well, the only way government can support and fund all these wars is if they force taxes out of our dollars, the way they would force money out of our wallets for welfare. So you see like a trend here that with both parties, they support the use of force to do things against our will, whether it's warfare or even welfare. How do you feel about the fact that both parties support this fundamental use of force against the American people?
That's a good question. I guess it sucks.
Sucks?
Yeah. Society, you know, that's what we live in.
Yeah. Does it bother you that government uses force to take your money to fund warfare?
Yes and no. Yes, because if you don't agree with it, it's the same problem with welfare. No, because they do have our best interests.
Okay. So you think George Bush had our best interests? Hopefully. Does it bother you at all that your tax dollars had to fund these wars against your will?
Totally, of course.
So isn't it a bit annoying? Their tax dollars fund the bombs and bullets that kill other kids in other countries. In the same way, I'm also offended by the way welfare is a government gun put to my head, forcing me to submit my money through taxes for things that I may not support. Do you see a correlation between me maybe not supporting welfare and you not supporting war, but in the end being forced to pay?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying, you know? Let's sit down at the table and talk and see what is really fair. If you see someone who's hungry, wouldn't you want to help those people?
Do you think there's a more effective way to create change than voting?
You let me know and I'll let you know. You know?
If everybody who voted chose not to vote and instead became the change they wanted to see instead of electing it, do you think in a way that would kind of cause the system of force by government to kind of collapse and become irrelevant?
Possibly.
Possibly.
We'll see.
Because I guess in a way, by voting, we're supporting.
Yeah, we're supporting, you know, the way of the system of things. You know, that's us giving it fire. You know, adding fuel to the fire. So I get what you're saying.
We as Americans like to talk about peace and cooperation. We like to claim that our political ideology is the way to true peace, to true nonviolence and an ideal society. But how true is this? Both primary political candidates, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, may talk different, may look different, and may make different promises. But they are both fundamentally alike in a very important way. Whether you choose Romney or you choose Obama, either way you are choosing to put a gun, literally, at the heads of your fellow Americans, fellow humans. We as Americans like to claim we're about peace and cooperation. But is there any peace in pointing a gun at your fellow human and demanding that they comply with your orders? You may support welfare. You may support foreign aid. You may even support warfare. But in the end, the real question you have to ask yourself is, would you pick up the gun and point it at your neighbor?